Crazy, right? Phone goes off. I'm typically having my phone on silent. It was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. Well, a tad bit late. What's up? What's up? It was a incredible weekend. Incredible weekend. And wanted to kind of talk about some things that I learned. Excuse me. Uh, my takeaways and and what I plan on doing moving forward. So this was if you haven't seen the other video. Well, first of all, let me do this, man. Listen, I know that some people don't like my dad jokes. You know what? That means that I'm gonna do them anyway, right? If you like the humble dad, if you like the jokes, leave a comment, right? If you don't like the jokes, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my dad jokes. And I'm reading them because I want to know which one you think is better. You know what I'm saying? Not that I think that they're all good. I think they're some of them I definitely think that are corny, right? But there are also some that I think are pretty clever. And so I'd be interested in knowing which ones you think are the most clever. Um, the weekend was not what I expected. It wasn't what I expected, and I mean that in a good way. I don't think that I had too many expectations um, going in. I think that I was more concerned about making sure I get down there, making sure that my kids were good, being here, and and that was my focus. That was my focus the whole time, and I wasn't thinking about what I may say. I wasn't thinking about who I was going to meet. I mean, I was thinking about the people that I would meet, but I wasn't afraid to meet them or had a particular idea about meeting them. I thought it would be pretty interesting to meet the people that I get to talk to on, on a weekly basis. And as I said on my other video, um, recap of that Friday on Friday night, I felt like walking into a room of family. You know, shout out to everybody that came through uh, uh, that weekend or this weekend. You had JB, and I really need to know her name, his girlfriend's name. Of course, me. You had Rilla. You had Mr. Logic, Island Girl Q, Anton, JR, HR. You know what I'm saying? We have HR. It's funny. I think it's Coleman, if I'm not mistaken, but I kept calling him HR, so I couldn't even remember his real name. Uh, and you had Michelle Courtney. You had Kayla, um, and it was epic. I thought it would be epic. I think, but I didn't know that it would be as eye opening of an experience as I thought it would be. Um, and shout out to my lovely lady Kendra, who was like, uh, "Baby, that people coming to see you too. I was like, nah, I don't see why you say that. and and man, was I surprised at how much of an influence that the show has, but people specifically telling me that I'm impacting their life with the statements that I make, right? And for me, I am always trying to come from a biblical perspective because I try to live my life through a biblical perspective. And and for me, I try to not necessarily uh, quote the Bible just because I know and understand that people don't want to say that you got your information from the Bible, right? Uh, However, logic does come from the Bible, right? If we would live how the Bible says to live, then you have a better life. That's why that's what I believe, and I've seen that and witnessed that, right? But the event was, um, had some technical difficulties, but however, the event itself, when we got there, people were lined up to see us. I didn't know that they was coming. I'm thinking they coming to see, and the main hitters, right? You got Anton, uh, you got JR, you got Mr. Logic, Oliver Q, uh, Michelle Courtney, and Caleb. That's what I'm thinking, right? And then uh, little did I know, like my girl said, that people was coming to also just to encounter all of us, and then me being one of those people. And I was, this morning I was just reflecting on uh, the goodness of God and how uh, this weekend was, I stated before, was the weekend that my late wife Jen also went to Houston, uh, and she went there to celebrate with my mom and her and my and her twin sister, right? And the crazy thing is that my aunt Susan was in Houston this weekend again, and she sent me a text this morning, uh, you know, and she said she got to spend time with Jen last year, this year. I mean this past weekend, and then she got to spend time with me. And so, how incredible is that to have taken place? Uh, the April 23rd was put on the on the calendar, I think, in January, and I had no idea of thinking that that was what was going to, that it was the same weekend. And so, but anyway, that was just one of the things that I gathered, and also understanding that just in this point that more than just me and my kids grieve Jenny, right? Uh, and I have to be aware of that more regularly, right? Um, Additionally, one thing I learned is that I'm not consistent enough in putting content out because I've gotten so busy and fogged down with other things that are important, you know. But at the same time, we make time for the things that we value, right? We make time for things that we want to do, and 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 when I left this weekend, um, my mind was flooded with creativity and things that I could do and be better at, And so those things will be in the process of working. I'm gonna be in the process of working on those things, uh, and see what comes from it. I think it's gonna be pretty great. Um, I also got to see. Oh yeah, hey Ben Lord, man, shout out to you. Bring back dad jokes. Hey, I will. I just said something in the earlier segment. You might have to go back and watch the playback. Oh no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't. That was the other show. So I'm gonna get to these dad jokes for sure. I'm gonna read some in a moment. You know, I can't. I like dad jokes. Some people don't. Listen. And I'm okay with that, right? I like saying whatever I want to say. And I had found some dad jokes, and I ended up forgetting where I found them at. So I was trying to find them again, uh, and then go from there. So I got two of them. I got two of them, right? And you got to tell me which one you like the best. You don't have to, but you should, right? You don't have to, but you should. What up, mom? How you doing? Hey, I got two of them. Let me know in the comment section. Excuse me. Man, I haven't drunk no water, haven't eaten any breakfast. I just woke up uh, ready to try to be a man of action. Here we go. How do you make holy water? How do you make holy water? Anybody know? How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it. Oh my goodness. See the irony in that? Number two, what sound does a witch's car make? What sound does a witch's car make? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Broom, broom. That's so cheesy. Which one you like the best? Number one and number two. Number one and number two. Hey, and if you're on Facebook, please make sure you go to YouTube and like this video. It helps with the algorithm and helps other people know what's going on. Okay, appreciate that. So somebody, number one was the better one for sure. Um, Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel for sure. Subscribe to the channel, and then comment in the on YouTube, because I'm trying to build my YouTube audience, uh, because it has a further reach more than Facebook. So if you can help me with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, I would greatly appreciate it. And then also share the videos, because that's helpful as well. So the weekend was packed with a lot of things to do. I mean, we did have some. We it was good that we had late mornings. Uh, they did. I didn't on yesterday. On yesterday, let's see. Let me go back. So the actual show, was really entertaining. I got to have some of the craziest conversations. Okay, craziest conversations with people, uh, and I got to interact with them on a personal level, not even recognizing it in that moment, really thinking that they were fans, just thinking that they were just people. And I haven't had that type of. I mean, I've had that before. It took me back to when I was in Reading Army. For those that don't know who Reading Army is, it was a ministry that I was a part of for about 4 or 5 years, and we did Christian music. And I was the person that brought the message at the end of the concert. And I was also the business manager for them as well. And I designed the T-shirts as well. And so but those were kids. Like, kids would come up to us and be really appreciative of the music that we did. We would interact with them and talk to them about where they were in their life and things of that nature. But then to come to a point of where adults are telling me that I'm making an impact on them with the words that I'm saying, well, it took me back to a prayer that I have been asking God to help me help me with before I started the Humble Dad Pod. Oh wow, okay. I just had a moment. Okay. Before I started the Humble Dad podcast, I had to retire from, well, I have to, but I needed to retire from being a teacher. And being a teacher was very fulfilling for me, because before I got into teaching, I was like, God, I really want to be able to impact this generation. And so please put me in a space where I can impact the next generation. And he allowed me to be a teacher. Okay. Fast forward, I was a teacher for 11 years. Shout out to the lady that was a teacher at the show. She saw me. I'm a dad. How you doing? I'm a teacher too. I go with everything you say. She was from New York. Her and her husband flew in from New York to see the show. Incredible. And so, but as a teacher, I made major impact. How do I know? Because I have a sign on my wall. It says, thank you, Mr. Glenn, on one side, and then it says, for never giving up on me, always helping me out no matter what. Oh, sorry, helping me out whenever, Mr. Glenn. Right? That poster is from maybe 6 years ago. Right? And then I had like these different cards that kids had wrote on to tell me how I had been doing. Like I asked them, how am I doing? And they were saying, that I was doing well, for them. And so that's how I know. Got to college. I was teaching in the college. There was a lady. I'll tell you these stories, right? This lady, she had to be like 56, 57. She had just got a divorce. She wasn't coming back to school. She had taken a math class before. I taught the developmental math, meaning the beginning stages of pre-algebra, right? And I always ask the question, who here doesn't like math, right? And hands went up, and hers in particular went up. I still remember she's sitting right in the front row. It was about 10 to 12 people in that class. And I said, well, I'm going to change that. I asked them why, and they said they gave X, Y, Z their answer. I said, well, I'm going to change that. I said, I want you to know I'm probably the best math teacher in the world. She started laughing. She's like, there's no way that you're going to help me like math. I said, cool. Let's go with this. If you don't like it, I promise you that I'm going to help you understand it. Well, fast forward, she made a C in the class. It was the first time. She had taken it 3 times before me. I think 2 or 3 times before me. And then she came back the next semester and she said, I was like, you passed the class. She said, I know, but I want to be able to understand it even more than what I do know. And she ended up almost making an A in the class the second time she took it. And then she ended up writing me a card and telling me thank you for all the things that I had done for her. And I had changed her mind as far as understanding math. And she was doing really good in the next course that she had taken. So I had made that impact. And so once I got out of teaching, I said, God, I really want to be able to still have an impact on people in some type of way. And my first initial thing that I wanted to do was to kind of educate teachers on being better at being a teacher. But I seen a lot of videos were already doing that. And so I'm the person that wants to be different. Just because I want to be different, because I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And I said, what is something that's not being done that I can actually impact people on, that I do well at, or at least that I want to do well at. And just out of the blue, He was like, why don't you talk to dads? Why don't you talk to dads and interview them about being a dad? And and at that moment, I said, okay, let me go ahead and text the people that I know real quick that is on my mind. I think it was like 10 people. I text them. My uncle Anthony was the first one. I don't even call him Uncle Anthony, call him Uncle. Text him. He responded back to me in like maybe 2 minutes. Say he would do it. And that began the show. And fast forward, me asking God, how could I impact people, led me to Humble Dad. And then that became my name. I didn't know that. That became my name. And by the way, I'm not humble for the most part. There are places that I am, I guess. I would say I am. But it is something that I aspire to be. Because if I humble myself, then I know that I can have an even greater impact. And I know that God will also use me even more. I know that. So I so working on humility is me not getting ahead of myself, thinking that it is me that's doing any of these things. In the sense of I can't force success. I can't force somebody to listen to me. I can't force things to happen. I can help things happen, or I can make things happen, if you will. But at the end of the day, I have to remember that God has given me that wisdom and insight to do those things, right? So fast forward, I'm now on making an influence on a bigger scale on the Lapeef network, and how that came about is crazy. And you can go watch videos on. I don't even know if I told that story or not, but maybe I'll just make another video about how it came to be. And so now I'm on the Lapeef network and making an impact because I do a show called I'm on the show called King Talk. And on King Talk, we simply discuss issues with men, but specifically Black men. And what I learned this weekend was that young men are saying we need this because our fathers were not there for us to explain it to us. And unfortunately, I don't understand why a woman thinks that being a single parent makes sense. Now, sometimes she cannot avoid it. Sometimes she can't avoid it, right? However, the goal should be to get that young man around men that can help that young man. Even if you're not with a man, you want to put that young man around men of value, of character, of integrity, right? Because if you don't, then that dude, the boy that you're raising, is going to have a hard time navigating through life. Going to have a very hard time navigating through life. And so that's why it's important. That's why it's important for you as a if you're a single mom to understand that even your daughters need to see what it looks like for see what a man, not no adult male, okay? We're talking about a man operating in the capacity of what a man's supposed to be. So that's a soapbox. And so I learned that this weekend about the influence that I had, and as a result, like I'm working on some things that will expand, my reach, and so I need y'all help in that. I need y'all to help me. I need y'all to help me in that regard. And how can I? Not how can I? That's the wrong word. I need y'all to help me, by supporting the channel and letting people know what's going on. Also, You know, I have the new merchandise. If you can go to humbledad.life, uh, you know, Father's Day is coming up, and dads don't be really talked about that much. You know, there are women that be saying, you know, you should say Happy Father's Day to me because I take care of him or her, my kids, and that's crazy. Why is that crazy? Because you cannot raise a man. You don't know what it is like to be a man. How can you raise a man? You can raise an adult male, but you can't raise a man. All right. So, um, with that being said, you know, go to the website, see if you like something, send that man, that dad in your life or in somebody else's life that you see doing great things for their community and for their family. Um, Also, don't forget to, you know, you can go on Humble Dad Legacy. I'm sorry, you can go on IG and Facebook under Humble Dad Legacy. Support me there. I'm currently working on TikTok, so you can go to TikTok as well. And this is this is going to be a good. It's been a good year. Not like the, you know, like the blimp, like the tires. And I appreciate the support thus far. And I pray that God bless you and that He makes that you make the most of what He's giving you. So until next time, we out here. Deuces.